Welcome everyone to an episode of the Definitive Crusade. I am your host, joining the machine, Hughes. And as we're getting to the business end of the NFL season, we are getting to the business end of December. What more can you want to do than look at all the festive fun that DC are going to provide for you this year? Joining me to run the rule over the roost, the lovely Freyja.
Hi, guys.
And of course, it wouldn't be Christmas without our own Grinch. It's the 13th Crusader.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm saying this now because in a couple of weeks we'll be doing a festive old-timers Jeopardy, and 13th is going to try and kick my ass.
You're well in the negatives already, Johnny.
Hey! Yeah. What can I say? We're all got to be good at something. Apparently Jeopardy is not.
But thank you. I'm glad to be here with the Definitive Crusade, and DC also stands for Definitely Christmas. So.
Oh, I thought stuff with dumb comics, but never mind.
Dumb comics.
No?
Perhaps in just a few moments for our audience.
Yeah, just a little bit, yeah.
All right, okay, so we have no Matthew this week. We still have 4 books to go through, though. So we're going to take a look at a book. I don't think we've kind of looked at this in any shape, way, or form previously. I know I've been picking it up, but that's because I'm a sucker for this character and some of his cast, I should say. It is the final issue of the 6-part Green Arrow miniseries. It's kind of hinting at the whole Waller takes on the superheroes quite handsomely in this one. It's written by Joshua Williamson. Art, there's a trio of artists. Sean Izaki, or Axie even, Izaki. Phil Hester and Trevor Hairsine. Sean and Trevor on inks are joined by Andrea Parks. Romo Fajardo, I can't say it, Fajardo Jr. Thank you. Fajardo Jr. is on colours, and Troy Patiri is on letters. This is kind of like a group book. We picked this because Matthew's not around. Who'd like to start us off on this one? Well, I'll go then. All right, three issues, 3 artists to run this book. All right, and because of that, the book, I think, is a little disjointed. Now, I'm not saying that that's a good thing or a bad thing, but to be honest, is it supposed to affect like the kind of time stream, like the timey-wimey stuff that's going on? Is that what it's supposed to influence, or is it a deadline crunch? I don't know what it is, but some of the art in this book is horrendous. That said, there's also some pretty good stuff. We start off pretty okay, and then we go through the timey-wimey stuff where everything gets a little bit cartoony, odd angles here and there, which we've seen this kind of style before. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't necessarily think the Arrow is a character that suits this look, but that's just a me thing. As we find out, he's been pulled through time. He gets to choose it. He stabs himself in the heart and tries to get out of it. And lo and behold, after all that, he has a little heart-to-heart about the idea of running away to combat his own demons or hanging out with his family, and he chooses fam. Fam forever. Oh, yeah. Love that. He gets back to the world, of course he does. And of course there we go, probably the most unbathing suit shot of the Black Canary ever. Is it just me, or is she wearing granny pants there? I don't know. Should there not be a higher cut? Yeah, but at least she's wearing fishnets. That's pretty cool. From there on in, a bust disappears. She's got boobs on that one. That one she doesn't. Crazy. Then we're back to Smooch Central, and her fishnets have disappeared. Oh no, they're there faintly if you look closely. All in all, the book is a setup for what's going to happen next. The Trevor Hairsine bit with Cheshire and Roy is probably the best art of the book. And 13th, you remember Trevor Hairsine from Divinity over on Valiant a while back.
Yes, I do.
And I think that's probably a good marker of what I would expect from a Green Arrow book as standard. Overall, I do think this book is being overplayed. 6 issues for this story that basically has Ollie go through time, chat with Hal Jordan, or a fake Hal Jordan, chat to himself as an old guy who's fake, fight a fake Merlin, and then get put back to where he was, all for the sake of Waller's agenda. Could have been probably done in like 2 one-shots, like the 40-page type books rather than this. But still, it's Green Arrow, and it's a great way of, I suppose, keeping Green Arrow in the public eye for a little while. So I thought it was okay read. I don't think it's fantastic. I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever read. That's coming later. Who's on? 30. Who's next? Oh, who's next? So Freyja, tell me about what your thoughts on this book were, please.
I agree with the what you said about the art. Because of the 3 artists, it did feel disjointed. I can tell what they were trying to do, but I don't think it worked. Personally, and also, yeah, I agree. Some of the artwork was just terrible. And I honestly, my whole thing is, what was the point, like, of this whole arc? It very much felt like there was no point, except be like, oh yeah, Green Arrow exists. Let's make books for him. Nothing really happened, I guess, except for at the very end. But then it just kind of left off on a cliffhanger, which I am just having the hardest time with, like, these event books just being a enclosed story. Because they never are. They always like, oh, and then it's leading up to something else. I'm like, can we just get a open shut arc story? Does it have to connect to something else? Some people don't have a ton of money to be blowing on these books because they keep going on and on and on and on. Not everything has to be connected. It can have its own encased story. I don't need this to connect to the Amazonians attack or something. Have him have his own story. Make it its own secluded story. It's annoying, and it makes me not want to buy anything, because I'm like, am I going to get roped into more stories in different art styles that I don't like from writers I don't like?
I think, you know what, you've raised some valid points, and I think looking from the cheap seats in, because it is, these are our views. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I do think that this kind of open-endedness, when it comes to these kind of, especially this one with Waller trying to take on the heroes, I do think it's a way of which to curb the idea that trade paperbacks are the way to go. Because, and I was going to say this about one of the other books we're going to look at later. If you buy the Green Arrow series as a trade, there's no end to it. So that means you've got to go out and buy another trade. At least if you're buying single issues, you can choose whether or not you kind of, you know what I'm saying? You're getting it firsthand. I don't know if it's an idea that DC are trying to pull away from the trade market and focus more on kind of the floppies and the single issue stuff. I don't know. I will say this, that I don't buy trade paperbacks because, generally speaking, I'm buying the comics in the first place. But you're absolutely right. The idea that things just seem to continue and continue. Maybe we're heading for another crisis. 13th, what do you think about this book?
Sticking with the theme of DC, when you buy too many books, it could lead to damaged credit. Right? So once upon a time, take it from this old timer, I used to buy the whole line, and then sometimes you would really get annoyed when you have a story that seems to never end, gets written into a corner and whatnot. So but maybe there's going to be some dramatic circumstances for Green Arrow. See what I did there? But in going with it, yeah, I'm on a roll today. One of the things I liked here was I thought of you, Johnny, when I looked at one of the advertisements here with the Justice League versus Godzilla, that King Kong's finally coming.
Hey!
All right, now
you realize, of course, Godzilla won't actually be in that book.
Yeah,
they're never going to meet until the final issue.
Correct. Right, but now back to where we were. So Josh Williamson has done a lot of good work. I'm not going to take that away from him, but I'm not sure if this book, I don't know what the purpose of this is other than a journey through memory lane or Ollie fighting himself, like you said, his inner demons and things like that. So feels like yet another therapy session. Thanks. Just what I needed. I feel like the best piece of artwork here was Merlin, and when he's
Yeah,
pointing
I
the
agree.
arrow at Green Arrow, I thought that was the best piece of
That
artwork
one?
in the entire book.
That one? That's on
Yes.
screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, he gets all of his family and things like that, and just like I feel like just like the Bat family, the Green Arrow family is just expanded exponentially. The Flash family, the Batman family, Superman family. There's so many characters.
I think,
I know you said that maybe there's a crisis coming. If they're gonna do it like the original Crisis and shave a few characters away, at this point, I'll vote for it. It's just too much. After a while, it's a lot to keep track of, and I think it detracts from the story you're trying to tell.
are you
Green
telling me that
Arrow,
are you
huh?
trying to tell me that you're all a quiver for a new Crisis, and you hope that some of the Arrow filler characters
Oh
get
my
shafted?
gosh.
Perhaps you are on point, my friend.
Ah!
But maybe that's also the answer to what happened to Black Canary's chest when she jumped on
Yeah,
Ollie. Oh man, I wore my quiver in the front. Sorry about that.
yeah.
But you notice that when she's running to him at the beach, he didn't have an arrow.
Yeah,
So
no.
I don't know what they're
Yeah.
thinking there. Again, I just fail to see where this is going. Maybe that's just my ignorance because I haven't read the other previous issues. When that happens, you know, you have to think of reality that there are readers that come into a shop after long periods of time off or just a few weeks for whatever reason, and then they may say, oh, you know what, let me pick this up now and then I'll try to complete the arc later. This doesn't sell me on reading it, wanting to read the previous issues.
That's a good call.
The artwork here again is just kind of all over the place. It's really good in some spots, incomplete in others. The inking, it's, I guess, okay. But, Amanda Waller, she the enemy of the universe now, so whatever.
Yeah.
I just had a bad feeling about all this, and I don't think Green Arrow deserves this, to be honest. He's been around for so many years.
I think Green Arrow is one of those characters that DC just don't know what to do with.
Right. That's what
I
this
think
felt like.
the kind of like the one to be a player back in his own series, and he had the Secret of the Universe locked in a box. That never went anywhere. Now he's had this, and this kind of goes nowhere. It is just kind of like a way to keep it in the public's eye. What worries me is the hunt for Arsenal tagline is to be continued or whatever in this. But for me, I'm kind of thinking, well, last time we had an Arsenal-centric story was probably when he lost his arm, and we had Cry for Justice, and everyone hates that book. Everyone hates the setup of Roy losing an arm and then everything going on from after that point. It is probably one of the most lauded books in DC's history, where people I own it. My wife bought me it a few Christmases ago just because I wanted to see how bad it was, and it's terrible.
Yeah. You know what, Johnny, as well, like with Black Canary in here, I also feel that she's misused. So Green Arrow's been with DC forever, in a lifetime. Black Canary's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Now, you have these two characters, and the popularity of them being together really works. But why are we so focused on the same thing all the time? We know they love each other. Go do something.
Yeah.
Go, Black Canary, she's fought alongside Batman, the Justice League. Same for Green Arrow, though he was a pain in the ass. But here you go. You got these two leaguers together. They should definitely have better stories than this. This totally felt like Green Arrow 0 Hour.
Well, you've got to think. Canary is back on Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey is back out, and we could have chosen to have a look at that book instead. We didn't, primarily for, I'm going to be honest, because I haven't read issue 3 yet, so I didn't want to jump ahead of the game. But still, I agree. I think Canary's a misused character, but I also think Canary's a character that works best in a group. She doesn't work by herself.
Yeah.
Can we say the same about Green Arrow these days?
I just don't think Green Arrow works as much as I love him. I just don't think, as I said, DC, is he supposed to? Green Arrow should be the hero that's joining Amanda Waller.
Correct.
To do the thing that she's wanting to do, which was control the superheroes. That's where he should be politically.
Mhm.
But they're going to avoid that and make him some sort of, I don't know, stalwart. I don't know. I really don't know.
He should be giving the shaft to everybody else.
We've had the shaft joke. Maybe you should just take a bow and leave it at that.
Perhaps.
Okay.
You're pulling the strings here.
Freyja's like, do we have to keep doing this?
It's just, I just assume it's gonna go down every time.
Fine. I'll try harder.
No, please don't.
Fine. You're gonna be like that about it? Oh, okay. All right. Next up, before the break, is our first Bat book. I was going to suggest Detective Comics at one point because we haven't talked about that for a while. But that's got a storyline that's been going on for ages. But instead, we have this book from 13th. It's a team up that you've never ever asked for. It's Batman and Santa Claus. Woohoo! Violent Night, number 1 of 4. I can't believe they're making 4 issues out of this. It's, oh my God. All right, so written by Jeff Parker, Michelle Bandini's on art, Alex Sinclair's on color, and Pat Brusseau is on letters. Christmas in Gotham usually means that someone's put a bounty on Batman's head, and several assassins have come to town to collect. Wait, that's not a comic, right? That's something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's like, what? Go and play Arkham Origins and you'll find out. Go on. Off you go. Right. Where are we at? 13th. This was your choice, I believe.
Yes, the bells were ringing, children were singing, all is merry and bright when I saw this book.
I was just thinking, what a ho ho ho, but never mind. Carry on.
And Jingle Bells, Batman didn't smell in this book.
Well, we'll see.
Maybe. Well, let's see what we all think at the end. I was very surprised by this book. I didn't think that this would be a series, but here we are, issue 1. And right off the bat, the art threw me off. Right off the bat.
Are you trying hard? Because Frey's heard that one before.
I have.
Yeah, just the combination of the art and the coloring in this one really threw me off. Some of the faces, the finishes were okay, but other than that, we've seen Batman Tales during Christmas time before, so I figured why not. I had no idea that Santa Claus was going to be in this book. And
it's on the bloody. It's on the cover.
Well, I didn't know.
It's called.
Well, now I know.
I mean, fair enough. King Kong's not in Justice League. It takes on Godzilla and King Kong yet. Yeah. So I get you why you'd be nervous. But a book out at Christmas that says Batman Santa Claus, I think it pretty much is a given that old John St. Nick is going to rock up at some point.
Yeah, and I did like the Batman 27 cover from 1945 on the cover of this book.
Yeah,
so
that
I
was
like that touch.
Is there a variant cover that I've missed?
Yeah, it's on the cover, and it's the book that Superman's holding. How did you not notice that? That was like one of the first things I noticed.
It's a cover on the cover.
Oh, there it is.
It's great. I like that little throwback.
So the old timer in me wanted to also select this book because of that. So curiosity, and So as we continue, whatever, again, it's starting to bother me a lot now. The Batman family, but the pleasant surprise in here was Zatanna. And then you're like, okay, this is going down a mystical route, not just a detective route. So I thought that was very cool. That panel right there, I think, is the best panel in the book, to be honest.
Really? Can you tell me what the hell's happening with her feet?
It's shining.
I get that. I understand what's happening with the.
Hey, listen, I said it's the best panel in this book. I didn't say it's the best panel I ever saw.
I don't understand. I do not understand what's going on with her feet. Is this where my arrow is right now? Is that supposed to be her left heel?
It's the Liefeld effect.
I almost wrote that on my notes, but I didn't.
So, in just continuing to read the tale, I was very confused because I thought this was going to be a Man-Bat story just with the way it kind of started off, but it didn't kind of fit his MO, and then you're starting to realize, like, okay, this has more of a mystic type feel to it. So thus Batman calls on Zatanna. Zatanna also, longtime DC character, former member of the Justice League. They've had a lot of adventures together. So that was a pleasant surprise. What I didn't like, again, was just the amount of Bat family members in here. Just again, it's just with all the other Batman books I've read of late, I feel like there's no room for these guys anymore, other than to give them a few panels here and there. Santa Claus comes in here like he owns it, and then you get a tale of Santa Claus and the DC version. So there was one thing in here that made me laugh, that he was what does it say? It connected to the Scandinavian myths around the time ancient Vikings honored Wotan and Freyja.
Yay!
Woo! It's
Freyja,
me.
Santa Claus. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Freyja, have I been naughty or nice?
Yeah.
A mix of the two, depends on who you ask.
Yeah. So I was like, I knew Freyja had something to do with this book.
Of course it was me.
I knew it. So this had you involved in it. The machine was involved because Zatanna's in here. So it's all coming together. And then obviously, my bad about Krampus. But it's just weird, or I guess I could never get used to seeing Batman in a case involving magic because of his skepticism and things. It's like he knows it's there, but he just doesn't like to talk about it. So he just call in an expert, and that's what he seems to do all the time.
Mhm.
I'm glad it was Zatanna in here. The story behind Santa Claus in here and whatnot, I guess it didn't bother me. I just thought that it was kind of like the reaction of the rest of the Bat family, like, no way, it was Santa Claus, Batman knows Santa Claus.
Mm.
But so what? They're gonna fight some demonic being. So we'll see how this goes. I hope the art gets a little more stable, but that may be asking for too much.
Freyja,
Mm-hmm.
what did you think of Batman and
It
Santa
was
Claus?
it was interesting. I do agree that seeing Zatanna pop up I was happy to see her. I also was very much enjoying her outfit and her thigh-high fur-lined boots and everything. I liked her outfit. Her hat was cute. She was cute through the whole thing, I'm going to say. Arts wise, hit and miss mostly for me. I was kind of like, I don't know if I like this or not. Santa Claus and Prancer having glowing eyes and piercings was a bit interesting. That was a choice. But yeah, I actually kind of laughed. And it was an interesting take on the Draugr, because they're as anyone who knows, they don't really drink blood, so it's kind of a interesting take on them being straight up bats. Because I thought it was a man bat thing too, like 13 said. I thought, oh, man bat is being weird. I don't know, but it was interesting. Also, having Santa Claus be from where I'm from is a little weird.
Yeah, it was.
I was like, I don't remember this person.
You related to Santa?
Here's
No.
a direct quote from the book. It says, it describes a mighty woodsman. Now we know Santa was a mighty woodsman.
I think he was a carpenter, maybe, but I don't. Why would we call him a mighty woodsman? A woodsman's whatever. Anyway, nitpicking that, I just kind of feel like Loki played a trick on him and just destroyed the bridge while he was out hunting.
Perhaps.
Like, we don't like this guy. Let's ditch him. Because everyone else got back fine except for him. So, I mean, I do like the design for Krampus, though. It's very interesting. And yeah, I thought it was just a fun little spin. Just story-wise, I thought it was just fun. I don't know why they're doing more than one book, honestly, or two books. Because I have a feeling that the books aren't going to be all out before Christmas. I think they're just going to keep going after Christmas because we can't seem to get anything out on time. So we're gonna have a Santa Claus story at in February still. So I don't know. It was a choice, I guess. Overall, I mean, it's fun.
It's a Christmas crisis.
It's a Christmas crisis, exactly.
Right.
And I was upset that they took Zatanna out at the end. I was like, seriously?
She'll come back.
So
it's fine.
she'll come back at the final book.
It just shows you how powerful Zatanna is, though, because you've got to think back in Night Terrors, a whole host of people try to get Zatanna turned. She would have been like the crown and peace. And then before that, you had Planet Lazarus, and she was the one that held the spirits together, that held Batman. So you can see how powerful she is. Yeah. It's kind of like when any story that features Zatanna, you've got to get rid of her first. The same way you've got to get rid of Superman to take on the Justice League. So
yeah.
Okay, so I had a problem 3 pages in, and my problem was this dialogue box right here. It says, Damien, only say things like that around me and try to get a point where you only think them. That sentence makes no sense whatsoever. Only say things like that around me and try to get to a point where you want. It makes no sense. It's just a bonkers, ludicrous. Admittedly, what it should have said is something like, when you want to say things like that around me, try and get to the point where you only think it. That's what it should say.
Or just don't say that stuff out loud.
But going on 2 different tracks like this, from that point on, I was like, this book I am on a loser, because there's no way I'm going to enjoy this sort of book if that's what I've got to put up with.
And then, of course, simple, like not funny, Damien.
Yeah.
That's
not funny, kid. Right. Yeah.
Anything, but then of course to make things better by throwing the lovely Zatanna into the mix. Yeah. And I agree, she looks great in this for the most part.
The face, I think, the way the face is drawn, I think is the strongest.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
It's consistent.
Feet aside, she's got some legs on her.
Yep.
I didn't mind the whole introduction of Santa as the kind of like the hero in waiting. It is just a bit of daft. It is kind of like one of those Hawkham Christmas stories you used to write as a kid, just to kind of like fan fiction-y. And if that's what's coming out of DC at the minute, fan fiction-y, then I'm really not sure if I want to keep reading, because I think, well, if you can't give me a serious book, then what am I reading this for? This read as a young book. It did not read particularly well for a more mature reader, for sure. But and before people get on my back saying Christmas is for kids, Christmas is for everyone.
Who says Christmas is for kids? I fucking love Christmas. Christmas is awesome.
I'm with you on this. I'm with you.
Well, that's why Santa's here to help fix that.
Yeah, fix this book.
Because it won't be for anyone unless they stop these army of man-bats.
They're droggers.
They're not man-bats.
That's what I'm calling them now.
Okay, fine. Because they're not droggers really either.
It's absolutely bonkers. It really just annoys me, because I think to myself, well, with all the bat tat that's out right now, do we need another bat book? If you put Zatanna front and center of this and make this a Zatanna book,
yeah,
and call it the Magic of Christmas, then you know what? You've got me. You've hooked me. Well done.
It should have been Zatanna and Constantine.
Perfect. Yeah.
They could be going on a Christmas date or something, and then all hell breaks out. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, the army of man-bats attack.
And the whole hell thing would go with Constantine a little bit too.
Yeah, exactly right. It would make more sense. But no, the powers that be think bat sells, so let's stick bat on everything. Let's ignore the fact that current bat continuity has him beaten up in Detective, has him beaten up in Batman and Robin, has him beaten up in Batman, but let's put out this book where he's all okay.
I don't know.
If I could add something on the art too, I felt that where the action sequences were, if that's what you want to call them, the artwork focused more on posing. There's a Nightwing panel with Batgirl. Batgirl's clearly posing, swinging with the bat rope. Yeah. Nightwing looks like it's posing. Even in the beginning with Damian, his pose is almost similar to that of Spider-Man's. And when can he do that?
Yeah, that's true.
So that bothered me with this book, with the posing. except for Santa when he's on the roof. I thought that was a good angle to kind of introduce him in here. But other than that, everything else, if you just look throughout the book, even Batman, the way he throws the batarang is a pose rather than something that's fluid.
Motion. Yeah, that's
correct.
Oh, can I also say that cop is now infected? She's a Draugr now.
Yeah. No.
She got bit. She's gonna mutate. She's gonna turn into one of them. That's how they do. They bite you, you turn into one.
I'm joking. That's fine.
Yeah. But they won't do it.
Man-Bat's gonna come in here and save the day. Forget about Constantine.
Oh, don't say that.
On that note, well, no. Actually, I think you're missing somebody. I tell you, someone else who's will come and save the day. He of the shiny red nose will probably turn up at some point.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.
He'll use his magic Rudolph red-nosed powers to freeze the tanner.
It's gonna be Thor. He's gonna come down with Rudolph from Asgard. They have repaired the bridge because we finally realized that Saint Nick's is not here anymore.
Marvel DC crossover at last.
Yeah.
In a Christmas story.
I'm getting a migraine.
In February.
Right.
Maybe March, who knows?
Happy Easter!
The Easter bunny comes down.
Yeah. That's when this book will probably finish.
Exactly.
Right, time for an advert for our other shows. We've hinted at it already. It's a short and sweet. Check it out. It's the Old Timers.
Do you want to find out what makes the professor do his happy dance? Check out the Old Timers Comic Book Show, only on the UCPN.
There you have it, the Old Timers Comic Book Show, where the hosts aren't old, but the comics most certainly are. As I mentioned at the start of the show, Jeopardy is on the cards for the Old Timers, with hopefully a couple of guests thrown into the mix to test their knowledge. There we go. What more could you want? It's a pre-Christmas warm-up, eh? All right, excellent. Okay, next up is Freyja's choice, and I don't normally reveal behind-the-scenes stuff, because, we don't have a Patreon or anything like that. No one pays for us for this. But I will say this. Freyja sent me a tweet this morning. It said, a DM. It said, I'm picking this book. 5 minutes later, I'm really sorry that you have to read this book. Thanks, Freyja. The Christmas that keeps giving. It is Titans Beast World tie-in. Sorry, I mean tour. I must get the words mixed up. What can I say? Metropolis. Where's my store? Oh, God, I just remembered what I've just written. Written by Nicole Maines and Steve Orlando. Art by Fico Osio. Luis Guerra's on colors, and Rob Lee is on letters. Who would have thought an actress who plays the part written for her and the writer that almost destroyed Batwoman would team up to write a comic book?
Ugh. Why do I always pick these? I really need to learn actresses' actual names because, that way I can avoid these. Because I just don't give a shit so much about Hollywood. I'm like, who?
Hollywood.
Who is this? Go. Let me get my drink. Okay.
So whilst you're drinking, to clarify what I'm talking about, Nicole Maines is the actress who plays Dreamer in the Supergirl CW show. There you go.
Oh God. Okay. So. Okay. So when I pick up a Titans book, you know who I expect to find in the damn book?
Is it the Titans?
The fucking Titans. I expected the Titans to be in the Titans book. Well, I guess I'm stupid.
It does say Metropolis. It says Metropolis. So,
but it says Titans. They can go to different cities. It's not like they're stuck in Titan Tower. They can go places.
What freaks me out? Not only is there no Titans in it, of the 4 characters on the cover, there's only 2 in the book.
Yeah. It's so dumb. Jeez, even the 5th one isn't it? The little fish thing wasn't in it. I don't even know what the hell. So
is he not? Is the Godzilla thing not in it? Is that not supposed?
No, that's
to
a
be?
Fish.
Is that not supposed to be?
That's not what. No, that's not what she looks like though. In the book, that's not what she looks like.
Okay. I thought she gets transformed into that.
No, that's not what she looks more like a lizard than a fish. It's I
Yeah.
don't know.
I thought
Okay,
Godzilla was in this book, by the way.
Godzilla. No, unfortunately, that would have made this actually fun. This book is absolute garbage. It's shit. It's trash. I wouldn't even use this fire kindling. I would use this toilet paper. This is garbage. Like the artwork. I despise the artwork. The storyline was boring and dumb. I don't know what the hell they did to John. Like, please give that boy a haircut. He looks absolutely atrocious. Continuity. What are the editors fucking doing? Because they were sitting down, chit chatting on the sidewalk about freaking John, and then all of a sudden they're on the rooftop. Why? I don't know. And then they have John. It's like they just I don't know. John just looks absolutely awful in this book.
He looks very pleased to see them in that picture.
Oh, he looks pleased to just be in this book. He just looks so bad.
It's the costume. It's fake.
The costume. I don't
know. Freyja, you've hit an absolute point on this. I thought this morning when I looked at this book. I'm not sure when they decided to when they were writing this book, if they didn't expect it to be Superman, because he looks more like Clark than he does John in a whole load of pictures. So I don't know if someone's got the wires crossed somewhere along the line.
I don't know.
If that suits any tighter, it's gonna cut off his circulation.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's so ugly. And then what was it? Livewire? Yeah, yep. She comes out. She doesn't look like a fish. Like, you go to page 17, I think it is. She doesn't look like the fish thing. She looks like a lizard. And I don't know, whatever. And can I just say I'm sick of turning villains into heroes? I'm sick of that crap. Can we just keep our villains as villains, please? Because I'm sick of this redemption bullshit. Can we stop? I'm done with that. Like, I know you're trying to be good. I'm like, no, just shut up. I hated it. And of course, Waller's at the end. I'm like, okay. That story was stupid. Okay. And then I get to fucking Turtle Boy, and I'm like, I'm not even reading this shit. So I just kind of go on. Totally skip Turtle Boy.
Yeah, I didn't read that.
I was like, no. And then I get to a Lois Lane and Clark Kent story. I'm like, where are the fucking Titans in the Titan book? Where are they? Granted, this one is the more better looking, and I use that term loosely, book, but it is not. I didn't like it either. I didn't like this story either. So I was like, okay, so I picked up a book that says Titans on it, and there is 0 Titans in it. So we get a puff piece for Dreamer, who is the dumbest fucking character. Sorry. I don't like the character. I didn't like her in the Flash series. I don't like her here. Can we stop allowing freaking the actors to write their own stories for their own characters and make them the bestest character ever, because they're stupid. I'm sick of this shit. And I should learn the actor's name so I can avoid it, because I always end up picking these stupid books, and I'm always angry, and I always hate these stupid books.
Hey, Johnny, would you mind going to the cover for a second?
Yeah, sure. Hang on.
Sorry.
Yeah. The cover of the book.
I know, I'm getting that. There you go.
I know the cover doesn't have any Titans on it, but it says Titans on it.
Well, to support the hashtag of Freyja Rant. The
we're going to have one of your
the last few minutes of Freyja's review. It's on the cover of this book, Super Rampage.
Yeah. There was no Rampage.
It worked.
So it caused a super rampage.
Don't waste your money on this garbage, please. Just
right. Okay, that's a fair shout, because I must admit I wasn't overly enthused with this book. 13. What did you think of this book?
I was very surprised at the rating of this book. It's a mature
17
rating.
plus.
Yeah.
This is a mature rated book.
Yep.
Correct. That's exactly the reaction I had.
Are you kidding me? This reads like a 13 book.
Yeah.
No, just
well, I didn't write it.
13.
Yeah, please don't. I didn't write this. Yeah, so I agree with Freyja on a lot of the points on here. I just felt like I got ripped off. I had no idea what was happening. I had no idea what to expect with the art. The angles, in some cases, I thought it was going to start working, and then it didn't. Um, some faces are incomplete in the background, which bothers me. I know it bothers Freyja big time.
Oh yeah.
You know, some of these panels are almost, the splash panels almost look like the attempt at cover work rather than focusing on what's happening inside the book.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a big crisis. She can foresee the future and things like that. Well, now we can see the future too, because I'm not going to pick up this book anymore. That's for sure.
Mm.
Um, I'm not even going to spend too much time on this, to be honest, because I'm not going to waste my energy on it.
All right.
The
Good call.
second story with Dan Jurgens, I respect him as a writer and artist. You know how I feel about Dan Jurgens' work, but
Too.
one page into this story was a real turnoff for me, and not because of his writing, but because of the art. I
Yeah,
just
well,
couldn't bear watching it. I couldn't deal with it.
I didn't even know there was a Lois and Clark bit at the end.
Yeah, and that's where I feel like there was an attempt at redemption for this book. I agree with Freyja wholeheartedly that this is a Titans book and that's what it should be. But now you have like this insert in here, and I'm like, okay, maybe there's some saving grace for this book, even though it's not really a Titan story. I felt the art there was a little stronger. The dialogue between Superman and Lois made a hell of a lot more sense. I finally started getting off that super rampage and started to say, okay, something makes sense in here, and there's that. But the last panel bothered me with Brainiac. I almost felt that he looked like the actor that plays Kang in Marvel. So
Yeah.
I just never seen Brainiac in this light, and it's what's up with all of these supposed cliffhangers. If there's a villain that's behind the scenes orchestrating events for everybody, why wait to the last panel? In the first story here, Amanda Waller at the end. I mean, she has a look that reminds me of like what I used to see with Darkseid in some New Gods books. Then you go into the last story, and then you have Brainiac. Listen, if you want to make it a Brainiac story, then make it a Brainiac story. But again, this book here, to Freya's point, if you're a Titans fanatic and you see Beast World because you're a fan of Beast Boy or whoever else, and the cover is false advertising, in my opinion, to a degree, then you're gonna leave thoroughly disappointed, unfortunately.
All right, so quickly, let's just touch on Beast World because we haven't looked at the actual story. We all know what's happened to Gar, right?
Garo.
Yeah, he's been Dr. Hate. We're not starting that game again. Dr. Hate, should be called Kate, has transformed him into a Garo, Starro type character. In a heartbreaking moment where he's please, I don't want to go, which maybe is a Doctor Who episode from years ago.
David Tennant.
Yeah, it was. How do you feel about the demise of Beast Boy? Freyja first.
Can they stop? I didn't enjoy that at all.
Especially when they tried to kill him in the Dark Crisis thing.
No, it's just because I feel like they're trying to shave off characters, but I think they're shaving off the wrong characters.
All right, okay. 13.
Johnny, in my view, Titans, right? We had the Teen Titans. They grew up. They formed the Titans. These were a group of heroes that were sidekicks, and everyone at first didn't take them seriously. Through the years, they did. Why is that? Because not only did they stick together and they knew they had big shoes to fill potentially one day, but what made them so great is because they stuck together, had their own adventures that the league probably would either have ignored, not know about, but that built that team chemistry, and the readers were there for that. Now you don't even know who's on the roster or who's a Titan and who's not.
No.
Okay.
I actually had to look it up to make sure that like Dreamer wasn't part of the Titans, and she's not. I looked up to make sure John didn't randomly get added, and he's not. So I'm like, not a single person in this book was a Titan.
Yeah, the Titans had the benefit of being so close to members of the Justice League and learning from their mistakes. Therefore, the Titans should have been a much stronger team than potentially the Justice League at any point in time. This is definitely not the direction they're going in.
Okay, cool. All right, fair enough. For the record, I think the Titans book has lost its way a little bit, which is surprising because the guy writing Titans is the same guy writing Nightwing, and Nightwing has been on a tear. Kind of cooled off a little bit, I think, but you know what? Still time for that to come back. All right, last book. We're keeping it on point, I guess. Here we are, Batman 140. It's got a legacy number on it now. I only just noticed that. Legacy 905. Why are you doing this? Either call it 140 or call it...
Getting some deja vu there, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm getting some migraines coming on. All right. This is written by Chip Zdarsky, by Jorge Jimenez. Whatever. Tomeo Mori is on colors and Clayton Cowles is on letters. How do you say it? It's Jorge.
Jorge Jimenez.
Jimenez.
All right, apologies. My Spanish is absolutely...
It's okay. You're British. We will forgive you.
Hey,
Never.
At least I try.
There'll be another revolution.
It's like that episode where it was calling Jaime Jamie, and because I was just so like tired.
It's all right. I tried.
The J
I
is
was like,
an
I
H.
should know better.
The J in Spanish is pronounced like an H in most.
I know. I live in a place that's like over 70 something percent Spanish speaking. So like, I know.
All right. Okay. So, very much like Detective Comics, I think this book is showing the nature of single issue reading. Why do I think that? Well, because there are so many throwbacks to previous stories that you have to have bought the single issues to understand it. No one's going to keep buying graphic novels and trade paperbacks if you're only going to get half the story. Are you going to go out and spend $25 on a trade paperback that has 6 issues but has another 6 issues yet to go? No.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I'm poor, so no.
No, that's not going to happen. There are tons of references back to this, the night, the previous stories. I actually think the writing of this book is pretty damn good. It gets a little cheesy, it gets a little meta in places, and that's all right. You know, we can all see the various iterations of the different Batmans or the different I can't even say it. Zers, we'll call them. You know, you've got the Keaton one, you've got Flashpoint, you've got Dark Knight Returns, all those
Vampire.
Vampire, yeah, got them all going on there. In the process of that, we get to have some grins, we get to have some jollies. We have the Bat Shield razors that break through. You've got You Can't Turn Your Head. It is pretty much a fight issue from page 1 all the way through. Is the Joker really dead? I'm not quite sure if that's the case. But he's battered, and if so, which Joker is it? Are we still in 3 Joker territory? Or is it should there only be 2 Jokers now because Red Hood killed one of the Jokers in 3 Jokers? Can somebody please stand up and tell me what the hell's going on with Jokers?
There's only 2 Jokers in the deck of cards.
Okay.
I mean,
That's messing with you, Johnny.
Oh, okay. Overall, I quite enjoyed the book. It was a laugh in places. Of course, the end it comes up that failsafe. We also get to find out a little bit about Bruce's parents. His dad being a good Christian man and Bruce not being a good Christian person, allegedly. That's what
well, I mean, you can't be a good Christian person when you're a man-ho, so I mean.
That's cool. And then, of course, the worst case scenario, Zers imprinted his personality into failsafe. Oh no. What's going to happen now? All in all, I thought this was pretty okay. I do hope that in the new year we get back to Batman being Batman rather than this continual drive to make him not. When you think about what's happened over in Detective Comics with the return of Asbats for a while, you know what? You know, I bring Bruce back. That's what I'm at. Yeah. But hey, that's just me. Freyja, what did you think about this book?
I thought it was fun. Seeing the Keaton Batman he's actually kind of creepy.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy the Keaton Batman. You could find him at the very beginning. But like it was fun. It was a fun book. It does get a little confusing with the back and forth, like inside his head, outside his head, inside his head, outside his head. But It was fun. It was interesting seeing Lucy. She kind of came out of nowhere. I don't.
Lucy was in the sky with diamonds, Freya.
Yep, I guess so. But I was kind of confused why she was there. I didn't know he was in France. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
It's because the Joker's worked out that Batman's Bruce, or he's always known.
Everyone freaking knows that Batman's Bruce, and everyone knows that Superman's Clark Kent. And everyone knows that
they don't know Superman had his identity saved again recently. But
whatever.
Lucy was one of the girls, one of the thieves that helped train Bruce in France in the Night miniseries, which we looked at.
Why is she here?
She was kidnapped by the Joker.
Was she? I missed that in the. I didn't read the previous issue. That's why I was like, I don't. She was in the previous issue. Okay, so yeah, I like seeing the vampire Elseworld Batman.
Red Rain Batman.
Yeah, he was Red Rain. I liked him. I like seeing all the different versions, even that Roided Out Batman from that run I hated. But it was good seeing. Fail save. I just I don't know how I feel about that. Like I don't know. It's just kind of a thing. I didn't even read the Savage story at the end. I just kind of I'm not doing that. So
Savage in the backup story is getting groomed by what appears to be the Court of Owls to become the next police commissioner.
Oh, interesting. Okay. But yeah. Overall I thought this was fun. I don't know if I would like tell people to buy it or not, but it was fun. It is worth a read at least, I think.
Okay, cool. 13.
I think of all the books we're reviewing today, I think this one's the better one.
Yeah.
I like Chip Zdarsky's run on Daredevil. So to a degree.
Yeah. So that's
to a degree.
That's the closure of the series. You want to see a series that goes nowhere? That last Daredevil run, I think issues 1 through 15, builds an army to take on the ninjas and ends up taking on the ninjas and ends up nobody wins, nobody dies. He ends up in back in New York with his memory wiped.
It's the Star Wars effect.
It's like, oh my God, what was the point of 15 issues of this? Absolute. But
Money.
That said, Devil's Reign beforehand was bang on, as was the run before that. So I get where you're coming from, but that last 15 issues, man.
Yeah, so with the story here, it felt like a mental nightfall. Basically, all these Zurin Ras, if they're in France, would it be called Zulala? I don't know. Anyways, my bad French. Zulala. But yeah, with all of these different Batmans, I thought it was a good touch to use the opportunity to put the faces of famous people we know or famous versions of Batman in the books. I got a kick out of that because this is inside Batman's head. And I thought it was a good opportunity to do that. So he's going through this mental nightfall, as I call it, while he's facing his deadliest enemy in the Joker. So he's really being pushed to the limit. Again, for getting back into DC books of late, this is all I've seen Batman do is fighting himself.
Yeah.
While he's trying to go about his life and pick up the pieces and worry about what's going to happen to me. And that part, that's not a Batman thing. Fighting himself to this degree with all of these different apparitions he's seeing, whatever, I can kind of buy that. But worrying about the future, he's always prepared. This felt like he wasn't prepared, but he's going through this gauntlet anyways, just like he did in Nightfall and other things. But the fail-safe at the end, sorry, Freya, if you felt you were supposed to feel safe, that's why they call it fail-safe, because it doesn't feel safe. Understand?
Yeah.
So some of the panels too were reminiscent, especially when he's fighting the Dark Knight Returns Batman or the Frank Miller Batman. Just brought me back memories of that. But are all these things distractions, right? For maybe older fans like us, Johnny, that we've seen some of this stuff before. Maybe we feel a little bit better. But what's the end game here? Is this about the Joker? Is this about the Batman? Or is this about everything? Or is there going to be a new turning point for Batman? And that's I left with more questions than answers, and I didn't like that.
Well, hopefully some of those will get answered presently.
Yeah.
but we can never tell. I do think that, and I've said this before, Failsafe does look like this guy. I don't know if you guys remember this one. Let me just bring it up so we can have a quick look. Do you remember him? This is Dave. This is Dave. From the Batman, not the Bruce Timm Batman. It's the Reno Romano Batman.
Dumbass virtual entity.
Yeah.
Villain, digital automated villain emulator.
Right.
Something like that. Yeah.
Dumbass virtual entity. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. The Batman. Yeah. I quite like Dave. I do like that. But I think the book itself, I think the book works. I think the book has a nice kind of feel. When Batman went through the multiverse and we saw all the versions of Batman, whether it be the 66, and he was getting help from all of them. So I get, it sort of like mirrors itself, and I'm totally cool with that. I would like to think that they've done something about his mechanical hand, because no one seems to be talking about that.
All right, yeah. We're gonna forget that exists.
Maybe Dave will give him a hand.
He grew a new one. Like,
hey, Batman, I gave you a hand already. I'll give you another one.
Oh.
But no, you're right. I mean, we've had Failsafe, we had the multiverse, we've now got this. 13th, absolutely right. It is every run is Batman fighting Batman. I can't remember the last time he took on a criminal in his own book.
And I get this angle, right? If you think about it, Batman is one of the biggest intellects on the planet. And I get that. So in that vast brain of his, there's just so much stuff in there that as a human, how can he possibly contain all the insanity he's seen and not question himself and saying, am I insane for continuing this crusade? But now this is what you're left with, like issue upon issue of him being some sort of either mentally unstable or I don't know. I almost feel like he's getting Moon Knighted too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Freyja, you were going to say something?
No.
Okay. Short and sweet. All right. There you go. 4 up, 4 down, just in time for Crimbo. Where don't forget, you have a whole range of shows kicking around. You have got on the UCPN things like Crisis in the Toyverse if you want to get ideas for Christmas. Freyja, what have you got coming up on K-pop?
So, sorry. Should be drinking while I'm doing this. We have K-pop Cosmos, where we highlight and talk about groups and soloists in the K-pop industry. We are going to be talking about aespa next time, so look forward to that.
Does Christmas take a K-pop turn?
Oh, it is award time. So we're going through all of the award ceremonies, and then we're going to have all the Ikigayo festivals, and I'm going to get no sleep because their festivals, they start at 6 o'clock their time, which is about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning where I am. So no sleep for me.
No sleep till bedtime.
And it will go through January.
All right.
So.
Okay.
Fun times for K-pop, though.
Fun times.
Freyja, if you see Zer and Raw, then give us a call. We'll help you, please.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe you should design a Zer costume for yourself.
A Zer costume?
Yeah, Zer and Raw costume for Freyja.
I don't know.
Oh, reds and yellows. Just go on and say, oh no, Freyja's been taken over. We'll know you've been taken over as well because you'll say nice things about the art.
Oh yeah, I'll be very nice.
You're like, I really like the art in this book. It doesn't matter that his legs are different sizes. And the fact that the background guys have no faces is just peachy.
Peachy keen, you know what I mean?
Eyes without a face.
Just how I like them.
13th, what else can we get? What else can we see?
Of course, the Old Timers Comic Book Show. Johnny mentioned it before that there'll be a Jeopardy session going on, and I promise you it's going to be a brain-rattling experience. So if you want to see Johnny stressed out, tune into that one.
Are you going to make them do math again?
You know I can't tell you what kind of clues I'm going to be coming up with.
I'm not going to be part of it.
Listen, I've come up with clues literally at the last minute. I will wipe a category out and put a new one in.
Oh my gosh.
So
Freyja, stick by your DMs. I might need some help.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that.
Johnny's an Avazur in raw costume of his own by the end of that one.
Yeah, that fishnets on, I'm sure. Sure.
Hmm.
Sure.
If I do Jeopardy, I do fishnets just for you. Fishnet category. Whose legs are these?
Johnny's speechless.
Whew.
Sorry, Johnny.
Ooh,
That was
it's getting hot in
Galactus,
here.
not his planet.
Whew, it's getting hot in here. Excellent. All right, so that's something to look forward to in the new year. Whoa.
Best legs of the year.
All right, so we are due back in a couple of weeks, which makes us around Christmas week. There will be a show, so if you get sick of all the Christmas telly or Christmas leftovers, we will be around. Just dial us up where you normally find us and go from there. All right, we'll make sure we've got a show for you. So have fun. Until then, of course, have a great Christmas, enjoy the holidays, and have a blast. Freyja, thank you so much for this year. 13th, welcome back. You know, you're both fantastic. I hope you both have a great time. Matthew, you might not, I know you're not here, but you're never far from our hearts. Same to yourself, sir. Enjoy your holidays, enjoy your Christmas.
Muy bien.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
You're more than welcome. And
What a pal.
what a pal. What a guy. All right, that's it for another show. I've been your host, Johnny Machine Hughes. As always, adios.
Bye, guys.